is very interesting. It's what is called the Grant study from. It's the longest study that have ever been done and it's done by the University of Harvard, and they studied people for 75 years, and every year they asked these people what makes you happy, what is happening in your life basically. And they asked 200 poor guys, actually delinquents from Boston, and they asked 200 Harvard graduates. And there was one commonality between all these people. It's the thing that was most important to happiness and to longevity, to a healthy life and so on, was connection with other people. The relationship, the quality of the relationship they were building with other people was key to basically everything. It's absolutely impressive how strongly it impacts us. And it doesn't mean that you have to have the best love relationship or that you have to, and it's very interesting because there's nothing materialistic behind this. From rich to poor, there's no difference. The quality of the people around you, whether that is your couple, your family, but also your community, your friends, even people at work, all the people, the human beings around you, this is what really creates the strength of your life, basically. And nowadays with social media, we're chatting, we are talking to many people, we are networking and so on, but the intimacy and the strength of the connection and the trusts we give to each other, I'm not sure that this is actually something that is strengthening more and more.
It's like we're human beings, we're social creatures. So we have to, if we have a strong social foundation, whether that's with your partner or your family members or even close friends maybe, that kind of that trickles down to kind of everything you do. It strengthens your mental state in almost every area, every aspect.
Yes.
So,
but a good relationship, it doesn't mean that you just have to be close to other people, because sometimes that can be counterproductive.
So it's the quality of the relationship, not the quantity of the relationships.
Exactly.
So for like the younger generation, like the millennials now, growing up in a world where all they know is social media. Like I'm old enough, I'm not sure about you, but I think we're both old enough to have known days without internet. Like we knew a time without internet, without social media. But now these millennials, they grow up and it's really consuming their time and their thoughts and their lives in a way. So do you see that as a very dangerous thing going forward?
Well, I'm not qualified to say it's dangerous or not, but what I'm seeing is, yes, it creates a lot of hardship, especially for those engaging massively into this. And there has been studies that showed that, for example, grades and well-being benefits from social media if you're engaged in it moderately. And that means just like having, using it for your few friends, for a few groups, with your family and close relations. But as soon as it really becomes too time consuming, and that means actually what we are doing, most of us, spending maybe several hours on social media, on our phone, talking, chatting, posting things and so on, then it becomes actually negative. It negatively impacts our relationship. It negatively even impacts our health, because that can even trigger pressure, stress, anxiety. And the interesting thing is that it increases actually a feeling of loneliness and isolation. And even deeper than that, it actually questions our very existence.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. It's something that actually in existential psychology and existential philosophy, the question here is, how do you define yourself? And if I ask you, who are you? You would tell me a lot of stories about where you're coming from, how you grew up, and the studies, maybe your parents, your friends, your whatever, all the things that make up your life and that actually you have in your memory system, and that actually in your understanding defines yourself. Now, this, if we look at this, how do we define ourselves with social media? how is actually our existence in society defined if we are spending most of our time in social media and we are not actually making all these stories, all these events, this quality time that we're spending with our friends, with our family, with other people, to actually make up these nice stories that define us. See what I mean? And in the end, it's also a way to lie about yourself, because many people post pictures that are photoshopped, improved. If you look at moments on WeChat or whatever, on LinkedIn post and so on, it looks like everybody's super smart, super good looking, super nice, and so on. And is that really you, right? This is how you want to be. So your whole existence is defined by the thing that you post and you want to appear to be. And in the end, some people pretend to believe you, but actually nobody's really believing each other. So this is also, cutting down the trust, because in the end, you cannot really trust what you see about the other person on social media.
Yeah.
And before we talked about trust, this actually is a disruption for our trust, I would say.
That's very interesting to put it that way. I would agree. I think it creates. Social media clearly has its benefits, but I think it also can create, like what you're saying, a pretty toxic mentality.
Yeah.
Right, where you're not really trusting, and everyone knows the social media game, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're posting these great moments of your life and these snapshots that are you're in the best, you're looking beautiful, you're having the greatest time of your life.
Yeah.
Like we're all living life. We know what's reality and what's not, and we know that it's not realistic that every single moment of your life is awesome. Right?
Absolutely.